Beginning in a comfortable position on the floor, widening the knees apart and drawing the soles of the feet together. It might be nice to elongate the arms alongside the body with the palms facing up. But if you'd really like to decompress with me through the shoulders today, draw your arms out into a T shape so that you can bring your elbows and wrists in line with your shoulders, palms facing up. And then bend at your elbows and bring your hands to point back behind you into a shape yogis like to call cactus arms. And though this is a practice where we're going to be releasing from any muscular engagements in the body, I'm going to invite us to focus intentionally on our alignment for a moment as we draw our lower back, middle back, and upper back, and neck and head in towards the floor. And consider supporting the knees with blocks like I have, if you have them too. Otherwise, I'll suggest folding two small or two similar sized towels and blankets so that we support the knees entirely while coming into this shape. In this yin setting, we are striving to utilize the props of the floor, blocks or towels or straps, to keep the body in a shape without any muscular engagements. And this way we are in a state of deep rest and relaxation. Trying to withdraw the senses by closing the eyes. We'll focus exclusively on the breath to keep the mind at ease. Observing the breath as it flows in and out of your body. Drawing deep and sound breaths if you'd like, slowly and evenly. As the breath moves through the nasal passageway, we can restrict the muscles even in the back of the throat to create an internal humming sound for the breath. Inhaling slowly and evenly in through the nose as we start to wiggle through the fingers and the toes. And exhale as you draw the knees in towards each other and float them in towards your chest. Gently coming out of this shape now. We're going to prepare to transition into a twist. You might utilize your folded towels or blankets, or if you've got blocks in this shape, but you may not need any supports. We're going to draw the knees out over towards the right, and we're going to come all the way onto the right side of the hip and thigh to bring the right knee towards the floor. So we want that whole hip and thigh connected with the floor, and that might take the whole left shoulder off the ground. And if that does, you might consider supporting the right knee using the breath to keep the mind focused on one single point for concentration. Closing the eyes and drawing the gaze within towards the third eye center helps us to practice a withdrawal of the senses, known as pratyahara. And with the gaze drawn within and the breath flowing intentionally in and out of the body, and with our alignment in this shape, this very intentional shape, we can breathe fresh, oxygenated blood. We can breathe and bring fresh, oxygenated blood throughout the body. And each unique pose will be inviting circulation throughout the form, circulation to areas of the body that may have been stagnant throughout the day, the week, or the month. Beginning to transition from the knees over towards the right side, gently walking the feet to move the knees and hips back square towards the floor. And sometimes it's helpful if the feet come over a little bit to the right. And then you can push into your feet to lift the hips as the knees then move to the left, and we support by coming to the outer edge of the left hip, thigh, and knee. In that transition, as the knees make their way towards the floor, a yogi may choose to place their left hand on the right knee. And that anchor might be helpful, or you might stay without that support there, without that anchor, and you might choose to place a pillow in between the knees instead. A blanket or folded towel can work as well. And we're going to try to melt that right shoulder down towards the floor. Really lengthening and widening along the backs of the shoulders so that we can really direct the twist to occur from around the heart. I like to still practice a very intentional alignment when I create yin shapes. And I like to utilize the support of the floor or blocks or towels or blankets or straps to behave the way that my core or my other muscular engagements would be behaving to manifest a shape. And this is how, again, we are able to practice the right alignment without having to engage the muscles of the body to do so. Focusing exclusively on creating suppleness in the body, relieving tension in the muscles of the body, but also coming to a place of relaxation in the mind and in the breath, so that we can really learn to shift from any states of stress and surrender to the parasympathetic state of rest and digest. Preparing to transition, Out of our twisting shape, we'll cleanse out of this pose and by moving the body in any way that feels good. And then we'll get ready for our next posture, coming into a supported bridge pose. This works nicely with blocks, but it also works nicely with a folded towel or blanket. And so arrange that now and get ready to use them, whichever tool you've got, the blanket or the blocks or a towel, or even two towels, folded so that you can lift the hips up and place this prop underneath the hips, creating a supported back bend position that invites safety to the lower back through the posterior tilt of the tailbone. I like to push my neck and head into the floor in this shape. Melt the shoulders back behind me, and even starting out sometimes with turning the palms to face up to help widen the shoulders and melt them back. And then we try to move just the hands and arms to turn the palms back towards the floor and keep the shoulders where they are as we lengthen the neck and head. If you'd like to explore a nice stretch for the front side of the thigh, you might choose to straighten your right leg and still keep the heel along the floor. So that you're relaxing the leg and getting a deep stretch in the front of the hips. Maybe 3 breaths before drawing the knee back to a bent position and then extending through the second side. Some yogis benefit from holding this for a few breaths, some more. So time this out according to what feels natural for you, making sure to even it out between the left and right sided bodies. It might also be nice to reset by coming back to a bent knee position. And then maybe you might enjoy exploring extending both legs at the same time. And this is really optional. You can choose to stay right here with the knees bent and soles of the feet on the floor. Just breathing into that diagonal shape of the torso. Or if you want to extend both legs and see what it feels like to get a stretch through the front side of both hips. Supported back bend with posterior tilt to the tailbone. Breathing slowly and evenly in through the nose. And exhaling slowly and evenly also through the nose. All right. If you haven't bent the knees from the extended leg position, I'll invite you to do so now. And we're going to get ready in time to transition out of this shape. But just breathe here for a few more breaths, and we'll wait for our signal. We're going to go ahead and remove the props now to lower the hips back towards the floor. And get ready for our next posture. Coming into Viparita Karani. Legs up the wall is often ideal. And if you're doing this in bed and you're able to create this shape in a legs up the wall position, I invite you to do so. But if we don't have a wall and we're doing this on the floor or in bed, we'll grab that strap, or perhaps you're using a scarf, a towel, a belt, a long rope, whatever you've got, to wrap around the feet as you extend the legs in this L position. The feet are flexed gently towards the ceiling by the weight of the strap, pulling the toes towards your chest. It's nice to have a long strap that can casually wrap around the wrists and then the hands enough that it creates a tightness just through gravity. And this way you're able to really relax the shoulders in towards the floor and not stress out the upper back and shoulders, neck and head to hold the legs up. So it really can benefit from utilizing a wall in this shape. However, with the right length in the strap, I did not feel any dis-ease creating this shape with my body. It was very decompressing, very relaxing. Not only are we opening up the body correctly, not only are we creating the right circulation, but in this posture, we're even getting the benefits of inverting the feet dramatically above the heart and the head. Gentle cardiovascular strengthening here as we pump blood in through the body in a new way. Getting an opportunity to rest, restore, cleanse, relax, decompress through these few unique shapes. A focus on a withdrawal of the gaze towards a place behind the closed eyes, and a focus on the breath so that there's never any battle for fresh oxygen in the body. So that as we come into a deep relaxation, we may play with a place near sleep, but we might also enjoy a state of awakeness that's unique in how calm and present it is. Preparing to transition out of this shape and come into our final shavasana position, our full relaxation pose. I'm going to be supporting the thighs with blocks, and that's a place where you can place a towel under each thigh, or a blanket under each thigh, or pillow under each thigh, and extend the legs over them. And you can see that it keeps the lower back on the floor and really helps to ease pain from that area in the body if you ever experience it coming to that flat position on the floor or in your bed. And then it's important to lay the arms alongside the body with the palms facing up so that the shoulders can naturally melt back behind you and in towards the floor. You can take a moment to adjust the neck and head, trying to optimize the lengthening feature that can be had along the floor if we tilt the chin in and push the head and neck in towards the floor. And if you need help staying focused, keeping the mind one-pointed in its concentration, keep up that steady, deep, rhythmic breathing. But if you are feeling now that the mind has surrendered and become calm, maybe in this final posture, you'll let your own breath begin to shallow so that there's very little movement in the body. And staying warm, perhaps under a blanket or towel, or wrapped up in extra clothes. You can stay here for as long as you need to. And hopefully you will feel completely restored and reset on a path of peace and ease. For the rest of your day. Namaste. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om